Hey guys, Dylan Sider with Kinfolk Carpentry here, and today we're going to be replacing some doors, 3 of them. Alright guys, we're getting started here with some demo. This is a McLennan contracting project. It is a kitchen remodel, but somewhat of a first floor remodel. We're replacing these 3 doors. One of the doors is to a basement, the other bathroom and garage. How I like to demo my doors is I like to sawzall the jamb in half and then use a flat bar to just pry them out of the opening. Instead of trying to sawzall all the nails, this seems to be a way easier method of taking a door out. So yeah, as I finish up demo here, then we'll get started on the fun part, and we'll install some doors, and I'll walk you through that process. If you're setting a ton of doors, you might want to consider a 32-inch level and a 78-inch level. They usually come in a kit called a jammer set with Stabila. The reason that is because a 32 is usually kind of a standard width of door, so you can actually level your head and check the floor for level before you install. And then 78 is like your standard jam length here. So that way you can use this level and it reaches the whole length of the jamb, which is nice. You know, have the proper tool for the right job. Alright guys, so what I'm doing here is checking my door opening for level left to right. This is where that 32-inch level comes in handy. This door opening specifically is about a 1/4 inch at a level, so what I need to do is off of the left side, as you're seeing it, I'll need to cut off a 1/4 inch, and that is making the head jamb of this door nice and level, which will make it easier to get a nice reveal. And I like to cut the door when it's still packaged mostly, so it all stays together. It makes it nice and easy to just flip it on its side and use a speed square and just cut it off with a circular saw. So what I'm doing here is measuring out each of my hinge locations so that I can transfer those measurements onto the framing of the door opening. I like to nail shims at each of my hinge locations and level them out before I even put the door in the opening. I make sure I know the width of the door opening and know how much extra I have and kind of split the difference. So if I have a 1/2 inch extra on my framing, I'll shim it about a 1/4 inch to center the door in the opening. And you can see me here, I'm using that long level to level out each of my shims at my hinge locations so that when I put it in, I know my door is perfectly plumbed. This step here is a personal preference. I like to pull the door off the hinges and just set the jamb in the opening. I find it makes it a little easier to manage. You're not lifting the whole door and trying to kind of get it in position where you want it while you fasten it through your shims that you just leveled out. So I just pull it off to make it nice and light. Alright, so I like to pull the door stop off here And then I like to put screws at my hinge locations so it's nice and secure when it's in the opening. All right, so we're ready to put the door on the hinges, and then we'll set the rest of the jam with shims to the door to make the reveal look real nice. All right, so I got the door back on the hinges and stays put, which it should because it's all plumb. And now just kind of put shims periodically along here to keep that reveal really nice. And up top as well. And then we're ready for trim. So I've been using this light. It's the Tough System 2.0 light. I'm hoping to do a review here on it soon. All right, so I got all 3 of these doors installed, and I'm starting to trim them, cutting all my heads to the right length, measuring the short points, and then I'll cut all my legs to length, and they'll get cut off when the new floor goes in. I need to get these in before the floor because the tile floor will butt into that exterior door. So that was crucial, but yeah, trimming them out. Here's a little hot tip. I make these for almost every one of my saws. They're basically just a material support. They line up with the table, and you can make your own workbench. Just throw a door down on some sawhorses and boom, you got a material support. Super easy to make. I have 3 different miter saws, and I've got a bunch of those kicking around for my different saws. So if you've watched some of my trim videos before, you know how I like to do miters. I glue them and I nail them together, and I only put a couple nails up here, and I let this float, and then I just let the glue set up for a few hours, and then I nail the rest of the casing off, and that gives me a nice miter that stays tight. All right, everyone, this concludes my video for how I like to hang doors. Thanks for sticking around and supporting the channel, and we will catch you on the next video.